So there's quite a number of ways to bridle your horse, and a lot of folks can get their horses bridled. Out here at Butte Creek, we've got a lot of tough horses over the years. Horses that we've got donated and bought and purchased from auction yards and this and that. And some of the horses have some problems. I've kind of come up with a way that'll help people be successful with bridling most any horse, no matter how tough they are. And if you're not doing this correctly, it's pretty easy to be unsuccessful. But once you start working through this process, success comes because of the process. So the very first thing is I'm going to get started with my horse by just getting him to give the pressure, to put his head where I need it, and to have him preparing to be bridled, which means that he's got to be thinking of me and being respectful of my space and what I'm asking him to do. So I ask him to put his head down to where it's comfortable for me, which is right about here where my hand can go over his head. But that's not way low. A lot of horses, especially horses that learn how to evade a bridling or evade their leader, would put their head too low for you to bridle. Be careful of that. I'm going to go ahead and put my hand over my horse's head. I'm going to hold on. I'm going to have my reins over my arm, and then I'm going to have my crown piece in my left hand like this. And now I'm just going to reach up and I'm going to grab onto my bridle here like this. Now I'm in a spot here. Where I can bridle this horse. Now I'm going to use my hand to help me be successful. And my thumb is going to go on my mouthpiece. That's going to go on my horse's mouth, and my fingers are going to be on the far side of my horse. Now this is important for some folks because a lot of horses will evade you by going away from you here. But this gives me a place to keep my horse where I need him to be so he doesn't start a bad habit. And now I'm going to use my fingers over on the far side of his mouth just to go into his mouth, tickle his tongue a little bit, and I'm going to let that bridle slide into his mouth. Now my thumb guided that bridle between his teeth, but my hand up here on my horse's crown or on his poll gently brought that bit up into his mouth. Now I'm going to put his far ear through with my thumb. I'm going to reach over and guide his near ear through, and I'm going to make sure right quick that this bridle, my crown piece, my brow band, and my throat latch is adjusted so that it can be comfortable for my horse. If you start doing bridling your horse and it's uncomfortable for him, it won't be very long until he makes it awful uncomfortable on you. Go ahead, once I've got that part done, and buckle my throat latch. Now, throat latch is not on there to be tight. It's on there to keep your horse from easily rubbing his head against a post or a tree and pulling his bridle off. But you don't want this tight under here. You want to be able to get your fingers through here, although it's going to go underneath his throat. You still want room in here to where he can breathe and he can move freely in that. That's a properly put on bridle.